Reflection is awesome. It's one of your best teachers that you could ever possibly have. So I reflect where I was 4.5 years ago. I was presented an opportunity to grow my life, and if I didn't take that opportunity to grow my life and fix all these massive problems that were happening, here's where I'd be right now, probably. I'd still be depending on my parents just to survive. My parents, they very well could be dead. My dad, according to his doctor, would certainly be dead. He has no right to even expect to be alive and to be doing as well as he's doing right now, according to my dad's doctor, and that was a couple years ago. My mom, 4.5 years ago, prime candidate for a massive heart attack or stroke. Her blood panels have improved pretty significantly since then. So there's a fair chance she could be gone too, in which case I wouldn't be depending on my parents anymore. I'd actually probably be completely homeless and broke. No job. But I turned all that around. I was presented an opportunity and I took it. And that one thing is just one of those things that separates people that are actually growing their lives from people who aren't growing their lives and needlessly suffering. So I'm not saying that you have to do the same thing that I did. I think the opportunity that I was presented with, that I grabbed onto and ran with, is a pretty darn good opportunity. But I'm asking you, friends out there, to promise yourself that you're going to keep relentlessly searching to make those key discoveries that you need to make to be able to grow your life and to move closer toward achieving your own goals so that your priorities are no longer suffering. And I'm speaking to a very wide audience because I know that more than 9 out of 10 people out there, your priorities are suffering, dearly suffering, some much worse than others. And a lot of you out there are dying, not just physically, but the things that you dreamed about when you were a kid, that you actually believed were possible once upon a time, those are either dead or dying. And the reason why I think that is a huge mistake to let those things die and not reclaim them is because when those are gone, your human spirit dies, and then life becomes this I have to rather than I get to. And life is much more exciting when it becomes an I get to. This opportunity that I grabbed onto because I just believed I needed it, it has totally changed everything for me. Or I should say, it's the tool that I used to change everything for me, because I'm the one that did the work. I just took this incredible tool, started hammering away at my little gold mine, and struck a major vein. It was really cool. 2010, I was already 2 years into this experience at that time. And in 2010, while everybody else was losing, that was the year of the official recession, I blew up. My parents' health is going up, my health is going up, my income, while everybody else is losing their income, mine exploded over 700% growth in my income. You were lucky that year if you didn't lose your income, or at least part of it. If you didn't get a raise or any increase, that's one thing. But in that year of 2010, if you didn't lose your income, that was considered a victory. Mine grew by over 700%. That's incredible. In 2011, it continued to go up at rates that you would not see your income go up, even in a bull economy like the last 3 years of the 1990s. So when I got started in this thing, I had absolutely no money. I had no job. I had no income, no government subsidies, no unemployment, absolutely nothing. No benefits, no health insurance. I had nothing. And most people, when they're presented with an opportunity that could grow their life and something that's actually in line with their priorities to make their priorities not suffer anymore eventually, they say no. And why do they say no? Most people say no because the two big ones, time, I have no time, or money, I don't have any money. It's based on facts that might actually be true. So let's take the money one. I can't do it because I have no money. Okay, it might be true you have no money whatsoever, but the reason why you can't get started is totally not true whatsoever. When I started, I didn't have any money. I did it anyway. I put it on a credit card. Money that I did not have, money, cash flow I didn't have. So how did I manage that one? Well, I put myself out there and I started working for people who would pay me $10 an hour to do whatever they wanted, as long as it was legal, moral, and ethical, of course. So I found some people, it was typically yard work, $10 an hour. I found one lady who paid me $300 to paint 3 rooms of her house. That was pretty nice. And but I had to keep going out there and asking, and I kept asking because I was hungry. And if you're not hungry, then when you start going out there asking and you hear enough no's, you're going to quit. And it's because you weren't hungry. It's not because people said no or you experienced rejection or any of that stuff. Everybody experiences those things. It's just some people are hungrier than others, and you got to be hungry. Otherwise, you're going to quit on the first hot day or the second or the third, or eventually you'll quit. So that's one thing right there. You must learn this concept, this beautiful philosophy that says if you learn to prosper with what you have right now, then you will become ruler of much eventually. Learn to prosper with what you have right now. You're broke, you have no money, you have working limbs. You can go out there and offer yourself to do whatever work for whatever amount of money, even if it's $10 an hour, $8 an hour, $5 an hour, as long as it's a start and you can start to learn to prosper with what you have now. That's a small stepping stone that's going to take you to a place where you can grow your life and move closer towards your own dreams and your own goals. That's how I got started, because I didn't have any money. Now if you have money, that's your starting point. If you don't have money, that's your starting point. Learn to prosper with what you have right now, whatever it is, and quit worrying about the other side where the grass looks greener. That's BS. Learn to prosper with what you have right now. The grass was greener on the other side for a lot of people when I got started. Most people at least have some kind of an income, even if it's not much. That was a greener grass, right? But a lot of those people, they still use that same reason. I don't have money for this opportunity. I can't get started on this thing I'm interested in that could possibly solve my problems. I don't have that money, so I'm not going to get started. I started with less. I just learned how to prosper with what I have now so that I could become ruler of much eventually, and now I am. And those people, however much they have, if it's a little or a lot or nothing, learn to prosper with what you have now so you can become ruler of much. Get that down in your brain. If you really understand that, if you have a clue about that beautiful philosophy, then you're not going to procrastinate anymore. You're going to realize the consequences of inaction, of procrastinating, far exceeds any other price to pay to grow your life, even if it's starting with not a pot to piss in, no money, no time, all of those other reasons that people give for not getting started on growing their life. Prosper with what you have now. Learn to prosper with what you have now, and you'll become ruler of much. I say it over and over again because I want you guys to understand it. That's how I did it. That's how other people do it. Anybody that's ever grown and overcome an obstacle is because they learned how to prosper now with what they have now so that they could become ruler of much later. It's a good thing. It completely empowers you. Only if you believe it. If you don't believe it, then you're enabled to be crippled. But if you believe it, then you're empowered to change your life and to grow your life and to achieve your goals and go after your dreams. And it's all out there. There's opportunity. Stop saying no to opportunity and start grabbing onto the right ones, whatever ones that might be. And if you're interested in this Beachbody opportunity that I'm involved in, I think it's the best opportunity in the world. Well, of course I do. I opened with this video by saying if not for this opportunity and my willingness to keep hammering away until I struck that vein of gold, if not for that, then I'd probably be homeless without any parents. They'd be gone, and I don't know what kind of a life that would be for me. But because of this opportunity and my willingness to put the hammer to the nail, or the hammer to the chisel, I completely turned all that around. My life, the power of reflection is great for learning. I have learned that if you procrastinate and you don't learn how to prosper with what you have right now, beginning right now, then you will end up or possibly stay in your own mental poverty. And with mental poverty follows all those other poverties, whether it be a financial one or a health one or an emotional one, a psychological one, a spiritual poverty, all those other things. And you've got to know what you want. Your goals are probably going to be different than mine, and you're going to have different reasons for your goals, but you got to know what they are. And then you've got to learn to prosper with what you have now so that you can become ruler of much. And if you don't, then those goals and your priorities, they'll suffer because you will be in a state of mental poverty until you pull yourself out of that state of mental poverty. So no more telling yourself things like, I can't get started on this opportunity that I'm interested in because I don't have the money and I don't have the time and I don't have the whatever other excuses that you've been buying into over time. You know what an excuse is? The best definition I've ever heard for an excuse is a well-crafted lie that we believe about ourselves, and the BS stories that we believe about ourselves that keep us from getting what we want. That's what an excuse is. So bust out of those excuses and start developing a new language like, I wish to pay the price for the things that are worthwhile. Don't wish for things to be easy. Wish to pay the price so that life is worth it. Don't wish for an easy life. Wish to have a life that's worthwhile and a price that's worthwhile to pay for that life that you want, the life of your own dreams that you will design and be the creator of. That's it. I hope that makes sense. And if you're interested in this opportunity that I've done, good thing about this particular opportunity, I've already done it and I'm still doing it and I'm still going to grow in it. But I know what it takes. So I could do this with you, walking with you side by side. And that's a pretty valuable asset to have. An actual coach, a mentor that's already done it and is still doing it, to walk side by side with that person versus maybe getting the knowledge from somebody else who hasn't done it yet themselves. Have a mentor that's already done it. I've done it. I'm still doing it. I'm never going to stop because I love it and I believe in it. And if you want to do this with me, or if you just want to find out more information about doing this with me, send me a message. Reach out to me. I will reach back to you. All I ask is that you be hungry and you be teachable. And after you learn about this, if this isn't for you, that's fine. I want you to promise yourself that no matter what, you are never going to give up and you're going to keep relentlessly going after the knowledge to make those key discoveries that you need to make to do whatever it is that you're inspired to do. Does that sound fair? Is that a deal? Can I get a high five? Yeah! That's important to me. I hope it's important to you. Take care.